Kia ora koutou, welcome back to the Bookshop Detectives vlog. And Gareth said, shall we make a video today? And I said, no, we haven't got anything to talk about. And then we started to make a list and there are quite a few things to talk about.
Yes.
Yeah. I have to tell you, we just had an off-camera argument. about
It's actually an on-camera argument. But so we started again.
Yeah, we started again. So, book club. We were going to talk about... I won. About book club, which we have in both our stores. Yeah, you go ahead and talk about that.
Yes, so we have a book club in Napier and a book club in Havelock North. We all read the same book and then we have a discussion about it. And we've been reading The Kingdom of Dust by David Dyer.
Yeah.
And the premise is it's the 1969 moon landings, but because it's fiction, it doesn't all happen the same as it did that we know it did in reality. So we see the perspective from Buzz and Neil, mostly Buzz's perspective, from Buzz and Neil, and from Mike in the capsule. And then we see the perspective from one of the wives' points of view, Joan, who is Buzz's wife in the story. And it's her perspective on the ground when things start to go wrong. And it was a fascinating read. It tells you a little bit about the technology, but I personally didn't find it was too much. I found it quite fascinating and how difficult it was to get up there. And like for every, kilogram of extra weight they had on the capsule, they had to have X amount of tons of extra fuel, so they really cut everything down, which meant some of the systems didn't have backups and stuff like that.
You can't take your paper back.
Yes,
okay?
yes. So it was it's certainly not your hardback, and so it was a fascinating read. Really enjoyed it. Wasn't so keen on the epilogue.
Here's the controversy, because we had an argument about this. So it is actually, before we get there, another of the protagonists is Aquarius, and he's a character you love to hate. I do love a character that you dislike. So he's this kind of a sleazebag journalist, and he's been tasked with reporting on more of the technical side of the moon landings, but he doesn't. He wants to get in Joan's house and see how things unfold. He wants to sort of really get into the psychological aspect of it, and he does. And we didn't know until at the end of the book that it was kind of based on a Norman Mailer character. But anyway, so you just got this, you don't know what's going to happen because it's an alternative history, an alternative version of what actually happened. You don't know if they're safe up there or not, and they're not. And the phone calls to the house, they have this thing called a squawk box that Joan and all her family and friends are listening to. And if it goes silent, that's because they don't want her to hear what's going on. And of course she knows that. So it's really tense all the way through. But talk about the epilogue then.
I didn't like it.
Controversially.
I do have a lot more to say, but I've told I can't.
No, not at all. No, not at all. So describe what happened. Oh, we can't really, because that would be a spoiler.
It would be a spoiler.
So there is like an epilogue that makes things quite meta, doesn't it? Yeah, so there was a conversation around that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but a fascinating book. It was great for book club discussion, wasn't it? Which is the main thing. You're being a cock now. The main thing that is brilliant for book club is that you can just say, well, this was brilliant and this was brilliant. Like, but what happened there?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that it doesn't take away from the experience of the book. And quite often we'll find that when other people have had their opinion, it will change somebody else's view of what's happened in the book. Yeah. So that was great. What a brilliant book for book club discussion.
Great book for book club discussion, yes. Yeah. And for learning more about the moon landings. And we had a member of our book club, and she can remember the moon landing.
Several of them could.
She said she was living in Thames at the time, and they'd watched it on like the neighbour's TV. And then she was walking home with her children, and they were all looking up at the moon, thinking, "There's someone on there." And it's just surreal, eh?
Yeah. It would have been amazing. I would have loved to have watched that on television as it happened. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and the next book club book is going to be The Chthonic Cycle by Una Cruikshank. Do you want to tell your joke?
Yes. I used to have a chthonic cycle, but the wheel fell off.
He's told it many times, which is why I'm not laughing.
She didn't laugh any of the times.
Didn't laugh the first time either. But anyway, it's nice for him to be able to tell a joke, isn't it? And that is on the Ockham New Zealand Book Award long list for the non-fiction. Absolutely fascinating. So cycles of birth and rebirth, and how long coal's been in the ground, and ambergris, and what humans put great value on. A series of essays that were born out of existential dread in lockdown. Really good. And Una is a very funny person too. So, well, I don't know if she is in real life, but her writing is, it's got a bit of a sort of sly humour to it. So I think that's going to be a fantastic conversation. Watch this space.
Yes.
No epilogue.
No epilogue.
Yeah, cool. Hey, talk about the love train.
The Love Train. How does the song go?
I don't know. I only know Peace Train, so that's been in my head, that Cat Stevens song.
So, one of my objectives for 2024 that I didn't get round to, but I did get round to in 2025, was to put a little train that runs round in the shop window. And it's slightly intermittent at the moment because we're still teething the technical details. But we...
He said, when I was 12, I could just run a train.
Yes,
Why
and it
is
just
it
worked.
not working?
Why is it not working now?
Yeah.
But sometimes it runs, and we theme it with different things. So we had last week we had, or the week before for the Chinese New Year of the Snake, we had snakes on a train, which was great. And for Valentine's we got the Love Train. So I will put a little video of that up because I'm sure you're all desperate to see it.
Obviously. We play D&D. Gareth used to have does have a podcast called Kiwis and Dragons.
That sort of died a death. But...
Well, but we've decided that we're just kind of playing for fun these days, eh?
Yeah,
and so we've got some new characters. I did a very good poison arrow attack that killed
Poison spray.
poison spray. I also did an acid arrow one.
Yes.
I think you'll find. But anyway, yeah. So we've been having a lot of fun with that.
Yes. I play a gnome called Cuthbert Sharp Tongue the Fifth. And he speaks like this all the time. And it's very funny.
It's actually really cute. And then he just hits something. Yeah. So that's been great. We've had various emails and meetings with Penguin Random House about our book.
About book 2 comes out 1st of April. And that's very exciting, that all the stuff they're going to be doing for that and what we're going to be doing for it. And our Australia little visit.
Our Australia tour. A 4-city tour.
Yes, we can't give dates quite yet because they want to do a launch of dates on a certain time.
Sometime this week. So watch this space and we'll let you know if you're in Australia. All our many Australian fans. You and you. We'll let you know where we're going to be.
Yeah.
And then bookshop stuff coming up.
Yes.
Yeah. So our lovely friend Nafanua Purcell Kersel has is about to release her book with Te Harenga Waka University Press. It's called Black Sugarcane, a little volume of poetry. And I've been a fan of Nafanua for many years now. Her poetry is sublime and moving and provocative and just wonderful. So she's going to be launching that on Wednesday, the 19th of February in Hastings. See our Facebook page for more details. And we're going to have a librarians evening, librarians and teachers as well, at our Napier shop with Adele, our wonderful children's bookseller and author Adele Broadbent, who features a little bit in Tea and Cake and Death, but we'll say no more.
Say no more.
Say no more. And so we're doing that. We quite like having the librarians and teachers because they get together, from different schools and have chats. And we get to blah about children's books, which we love.
Yeah, and they're good fun as well.
It's great. Yeah. Glass of orange juice and a piece of cheese and off we go.
And some wine.
Oh, yes. And then the day after that, on Friday the 7th of March, we've got Geoffrey Papadoa Holman coming in. And his book through Canterbury University Press, where he was an adjunct senior person. Dr. Holman has written a book, Lily Oh Lily, In Search of a Nazi Ghost. And it is his great aunt Lily, who was English but married a German man and moved over there and was heard to say anecdotally what a great guy Hitler was. So he learns German, he goes to Germany and he tries to track down what's happened because there's very sketchy details within the family. So if you're into family research or that era of history, and it's also sort of a philosophical text.
A what?
A philosophical text about, the dead are only dead if they're completely forgotten, so it's if you're in search of this person and he stands in the places where she would have stood and where his other ancestors would have stood and just trying to get your head into that, what would it have been like for them? So that's a fascinating and rather beautiful book. And Geoffrey's coming to see us.
Cool. And we've been working on book 3 of our book.
Yeah.
We've done 6 chapters now. I've done my chapter 6, so it's up to you to sort of get
It's
right
up to me.
So I've handed the baton back to you.
Yeah.
Or the quill. I've handed the quill back to you.
Okay. The electronic quill.
The electronic quill, yes.
Yeah. So I'll get
And it's
on to
going
that.
quite well. We're making ourselves laugh, which I think is always a good sign.
Very good. And we did a lot of planning, so
We did
it's
do a lot
actually
of planning
quite.
with this one.
We've got the spreadsheet,
Yes.
and it's got sufficient detail in it this time, and we think we've sort of plugged up plot holes as we go. There will be
Yes.
more,
Yes.
obviously,
Yeah.
but
Because as you write, you think, oh, that's good, and you add stuff in and it changes. But you know, we've got a map that we're working to at the moment.
yeah.
So, yeah.
It's quite fun because we've been watching detective series on the telly as well,
Yeah,
haven't we? And
yeah.
go like, what's she for?
Yeah. Oh, that doesn't make sense.
And then you have to really think, well, that's what a reader is going
Yeah.
to think when they read our book. What do
Yeah.
they do that for? And we're like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah.
But it's not always fine.
It's never fine.
Yeah.
No.
So it's a great process, isn't it?
It is a great
We're
process.
enjoying that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think that's us.
That's
for the
about
minute.
us for today. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll be back to see you soon, and thank you for listening to us.
And we'll update you on the Australian tour and any other exciting news.
And any other fights that we have
Yes.
on or off camera. Yeah.
Not all of them, because, you know, that would
You wouldn't
just
be interested.
be a
Yeah.
lifetime event. For more information, read the Bookshop Detectives, book 2.
Yeah. All right, loves. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll be back soon.
No, we don't. Yes. I thought you'd forgotten.
Matewa.
Matewa.